Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about when somebody is accused of being too suspicious and or accused of being paranoid, when in fact it is neither. It's not them. What they're seeing is actually, or has happened, actually has happened. But there are people who just simply want to, for whatever reason, some of them, they're just like that. They don't want, if anything strange happens to somebody, they'll go down the line of being a bit on the histrionic side of only attention, whether it's negative attention, positive attention, it all has to be on them, that kind of attention. And because only interesting things, some find strange as interesting, only interesting things happen to them. Okay. They don't want anybody else getting any attention for any reason. They're kind of on the histrionic side, not a diagnosis, just saying that it's kind of on that way. But so that they'll tell the person, no, that didn't happen, and oh, you're just making it up, or oh, you're just being suspicious, or whatever is the case. Whatever they say, just to take it away from that person and make that person look bad in the process. And these can actually be people who, it can be people who are actually there and witness it, but because they, don't want it to be, again, like I just said, just show that that person had something like that happen to them that others might find interesting. You put the attention on them. Nope, not happening. Okay, phew, got that out. But do you know what I mean? Some people say they're narcissistic, but my experience, people who are more just narcissistic, they want attention on them that's all good. Histrionic people, they just want the attention. They don't care how it is, because anybody who's negative toward them, they just call them haters or something along that line. They'll smear campaign them behind their back, whatever it takes. Some of them, not one size doesn't fit all. Then I'll do the same thing. Okay. All right. I hope both of you turn. Then I can turn. Yes, I can turn. So anyway, I'll give an example of this. Okay. Now this kind of thing happens to Stacie. Stacie, a woman, Stacie, S-T-A-C-I-E. Just weird things have happened to her since she was young. She's in her 50s now, her late 50s. But when she was young, just weird things, random weird things would happen to her. And if she would tell, if the person was there, just what I've all just said already. But anyway, there's no roads for them to cross. So anyway, just weird things happen to her. Some people say she has a jinx life and all this, but just weird things happen. And even, like I said, the person that could be there, sometimes the person's there says, yeah, she really, and then they'll say she has a jinx life, if they see it more than once, because it happens quite often to her, no matter who she's with or whether she's by herself. And, yeah, so some people, they just refuse to believe it, okay? So she learned over time, from her youth, just not to tell anybody. And that's bad, because in a way her life sometimes some of these things may be so important that other people should know, or they can figure out something that she can't because it's too subjective, and they can be more objective. It's subjective for her, but objective for them. And but she just basically shut down that because it's too many weird things, and she can see that truth is stranger than fiction, but that she's seen it over years. She's building a reputation by talking about these things, even though they're real, even though it's true. Okay, now where was I? There were so many things, so many steps to do anything, really. But I had to go into the store. Yuck, gross, mister. Seriously, I hope you didn't see that. But anyway, I'm gonna have a hard time getting out of here, and today is Sunday. But yeah, weird things happened to Stacie, and she got to where she doesn't tell anybody. And when she got married, her husband to be, I guess you would say, he of course saw some things, but he's more one of those that you know, it was just, whatever it was for him, too much on his brain to see so many things happening. I am going to have a possible time to get out of here. I want to get over there. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to have to go the other way. Hopefully I can back out. But anyway, it just weird things happened to her. So she, you know, she got to where she didn't even want to tell him, because he was, you know, so much like other people she'd run across, and, you know, at some point, even though he saw him himself. Now think about, I mentioned this in another video. You remember the show Bewitched, and the neighbor, Mrs. Kravitz, right? She wasn't wrong. Okay, you just about saw me have a meltdown. There was a car going down this road like 10, 15 miles per hour. You know what people call, I don't like this word, it just sounds awful, stragglers. And it was like holding up one in front of me to get across, and then me to get across. Oh my goodness. And then another one was turning and wouldn't turn. You know, when you're turning and the other person's coming from the other direction, you have the right of way. Well, you know what I'm talking about. That kind of right of way, you turn right into your lane, and there's no light, you know. Look it up, put it that way. Don't take my word on any circumstance, because it's not anyone. But anyway, it was like, you know, we're talking about what's topic here, that with the strange things that happen. Seriously, you're going down a road that's 35 and you're going 10, 15, really. Okay, so situations like that. Yeah, today is a Sunday, and I cannot believe it's just so busy. I was out this direction the other day. It was a weekday, I think. Nope. But a Sunday, my goodness, and people are so aggressive. It's kind of like me, huh? No, I wasn't aggressive. I'm like, come on, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Anyway, so Stacie. Let's get back to Stacie. I knew a guy named Stacie, by the way. Anyway, so since she was young, her husband's like that, and like I was saying, Mrs. Kravitz was not wrong. Okay, what she saw was real. She saw it. That kind of situation. Now, I did a video on her recently. Well, I don't know if I put this up around the same time, but she has all these weird things happening with her neighbors. Of course, as you know, she has weird things happening in so many parts of her life that it's just not one. But her neighbors are, you know, they're acting like they're suspicious of her, when instead she finally started thinking she'd been around them, you know, say when she was around them maybe, you know, under 20 years. She's only been around them maybe 20 years. So, okay. Anyway, so where was I? It's getting long because of distraction. Many of my videos. But anyway, she has all kinds of weird troubles with her neighbors, and at some point under the 20 years, right now would be 20 years, let's say 18 or so years, you know, the things that happened, it was just like every blue moon, and she had too much going on in her own life to really think about it, and she still has too much going on. But after those many years, you know, they started saying weird things, say around, you know, like say 17, 18 years, they started saying things to her that were very weird, as I mentioned. So that made her really look deeper into it, because she's used to just weird things happening. But these things were like that they should be able to hear what's going on in her house. Like in the sense of that there was some way they could hear what was going on in her house, what was being said in her house, like bugged. And she's had, you know, got referrals from them for different people. They know different people to, you know, do things like, what is going on here? To do things like clean the house, or do some work on their house, or, you know, whatever. They, you know, they talk to, you know, do their lawn service. They talk to them, vice versa. You know, just depended on what it was. And So yeah, she got very, used to this kind of, this would happen. Boy, I'm distracted, can you tell? But she, when they said things like that, she was just too shocked. Oh my goodness, I had more distractions on this video than I think I ever have in over 7 years on my original channel. But anyway, so, they'd say weird things like they should be able to know what's going on in their backyard, Stacie and her husband's backyard, and just weird things they'd say along the years, but not the years, but more recent years. And Stacie's not going to tell, she mentions it to her husband, and he's like, oh, you always have something, so things like this have happened. And like I said, she started thinking about, what about them, and why are they so suspicious of her? She's not the one that's doing anything suspicious, and she's not, it's them. And she starts to really think deeper about it, how some people, whenever, projection, but they want to take the heat off of themselves. They point the finger at somebody else, to basically me and you guys want to do the same thing. Let's move over. But so they point the finger at her. But the weird things about them is they've let things slip along the years, and her husband didn't tell her right away about some of these things that if she knew, she could have put the pieces of the puzzle together better. But could she really? Because sometimes what we think is going on really isn't going on. It's something so different. So she knows that. She knows, she could be totally wrong about it, but still, she feels there's some reason why they're pointing the finger at her. Some reason, something's going on, and it's not good. Maybe it's not good. Maybe it's just weird. Maybe it's just their own quirks and their own weirdness all around. And one of the things is eventually, many years ago, not 20 years ago, but somewhere, maybe 10 years ago or so, her husband told her that they go away for the weekend. And she knew, she said, okay. And they go, the way he put it was, they sometimes go out of the country. And she said, she thought that, she said, there's no way where he said, unless they flew there, and they were not flying, they were driving, and some of the things he had told her about it, said that would take more than just a weekend. But so she started paying attention. She sees that every Friday they're gone and they don't return home. She's not watching them. It's just over years, she could see. She'd go out to get in her car on Friday, and none of theirs. She has to pass their house, and none of their cars would be there. Or Thursday, later Thursday, none of their cars would be there. Then they wouldn't get back till sometime Sunday, late, or Monday morning, just because she was leaving and she has to drive past. And usually they have so many cars that it's hard to get past. You see what I'm saying? So she wasn't spying. It just happened that she could see it. And that happens. I know, like when I drive to my place, to my house, I can see, like at the end of the street, of course, it's right in front of me, and there's a curve, and I can see the people there, and I've seen them standing out just watching me like, what are you doing? All I'm doing is pulling in my driveway. That happened to me recently. Just pull in my driveway. It's my driveway. It's before your house. I have to go down there, that way to get in there. They come walking out, just staring at me. Okay, so these things do happen, and it happens a lot to Stacie. So Stacie's, wondering what is it that they do, but she's not the nosy type. She just notices it because she has to drive past. And but then when they started doing weird things like putting cameras in their windows, focused on her house. Yeah, she started to really get suspicious. So anyway, that's enough for this one. I'll talk to you on another.